Hello everyone and welcome to week 9 of the class. We're almost done, which is super exciting. So this week we're going to be going over the product analysis assignment and also the different articles and reflection I'm requiring you to do this week. And finally the shadowing project number 2. But we're also going to dive into what comes week 10 in this lecture because it's important to get a head start on that. So let's go ahead and get started with week 9, however. The first thing I have linked is the shadowing project number 2. This is due on October 19th, which is this Friday. I mentioned this due date all the way back in week 3, I believe. So you should have a head start on this. But just as a reminder, I've linked the PowerPoint slides to that lecture here. And I'm requiring a 2-hour block of time at the firm outside of your industry researching this class. Again, this person needs to be an owner or manager of the company or high up in the company, not a relative or family member. Make sure you include the question and answer portion in the assignment as well as the observations of the company environment. And then finally, and most importantly, the critique of the assignment. How did the assignment impact you and what will you learn that you can apply to your idea? It's worth 15 points and it's due on Friday. Next step on what we're going to talk about is the product analysis. So this is a new assignment that's also due on Friday. You're going to describe specifically with as much detail as possible the product, service, business idea, or combination. You may be thinking, this is kind of what we've been doing the whole semester, like working on this. This is kind of the first thing we submitted. But we're going to take everything we learned throughout the semester and put it into this assignment. This section should be very detailed. So if you have a product-focused business, you'll need to spend a lot of time describing the products, the nature of the product, its uses, its value, its differentiation from the competitors. So if you notice here, you did a lot of customer discovery this semester, interviewing customers on what they want, if they're interested in your product, what kind of features they'd like, but also the competitors, so what they have on the market and how you're going to take this assignment and describe how yours is going to be different, how you're going to meet those needs for your customers, everything like that. So if your business isn't product focused, if it's commodity focused, so if you have a cattle operation, if you're planning on growing corn and soybeans, the key to success and a competitive pricing or your marketing techniques. So how are you going to keep your inputs low? How are you going to market differently than other producers? You don't need to provide as much specific, significant product detail, but I'm still looking for ways you can differentiate yourself and have competitive advantages over others. So some key points to include in this would be your benefits to the customer, benefits to the producer, uniqueness to the market, the size, shape, color, different other features from your product or service, and then examples as well. Some key questions to answer in this document would be, what is the timeline for bringing new products or services to market? And are they in development or existing and or on the market? So a couple key questions to answer in addition would be, are competitive advantages compared with other offerings? So explain how this product, service, or business idea has features that are different than what is currently in the marketplace. And then if no market currently exists, describe why your products and services are needed. Are there competitive disadvantages you need to overcome? And how will you do that? Also, how will you acquire your products? Are you the manufacturer? Do you assemble products using components provided by others? Do you purchase products from suppliers and wholesalers? Or is there a steady supply of products available if your business takes off as well? If your product is seasonal, do you have a plan to keep the business viable in the off-season, keep employees productive, and have alternative revenue streams? It's a lot of things to think through, a lot of deep questions that hopefully this semester has helped you work through, and if not, now's the chance to research those. So your project, I want you to include a picture of the product or performance of the service. So if you have, it can be hand-drawn, it can be sort of a diagram of what you're going to have, anything like that. Be clear and to the point in this analysis, this paper. Avoid industry buzzwords so readers can easily understand. So I've included a rubric here on Canvas. It's going to be 3 to 4 pages. That 3 to 4 pages can include the picture of your product or service. Just make sure you answer all these questions to get all 10 points. And once again, it's due on Friday. So after we've talked about the product analysis, we're next going to talk about the week 9 articles and reflection. I haven't begun to look at your week 7 reflections yet, but I'm super excited too. I've seen them roll in, so I'm excited about that. So this week, we're going to talk about pitching your business idea. So I've linked 2 different articles here. One says it's 90 pages, but when you open it up, there's quite a few pages that you don't need to read, meaning they're just fluff pages, like table of contents, title page, a lot of references at the end. So it's not nearly 90 pages, and the pages that do have text on them, they're very large text. So it shouldn't take you too long to read. But the other one is only 1 page, so I've kind of taken it easy on you there. But your reflection for this week's article, you're going to create and video yourself giving a 3-minute pitch of your business idea. So that's huge in entrepreneurship lately, doing a quick pitch. So you're going to upload it to YouTube, submit the link, upload it directly to Canvas, or email the video to myself. And make sure you include the points that are outlined in the 2 articles. So I'm going to be making sure that you actually read the articles by making sure you include key points from each. So that's all for this week. That reflection is also due on Friday. It's only 3 minutes, so it shouldn't take you too long, but I am looking for a well laid out pitch. So put some work and effort into it as well. Now for week 10, this is where you get to do your final presentation. So I have compiled a final presentation schedule here on Google Docs that I will share on Canvas. I don't think I have it uploaded yet, but I will. If you don't see your name on this list, it means I didn't get your survey response through SurveyMonkey that I posted last week. And if that is the case, then you need to get back to me as soon as possible about which date and time and presentation delivery method works for you. These are the only options. So if you aren't able to sign up for a time, you're going to get a 0 out of 25 for this final presentation assignment. Since I did give you the chance to respond, get back to me with other times that might work for you, all that kind of stuff. Last week, I did try to accommodate everyone that got back to me there. So you missed your chance if these don't work. So please, you'll have to make time in your schedule to make them work to get the points. So I've also prepared some content for what to include in your final semester presentation. Okay, so let's go ahead and quick go through this PowerPoint. So some main areas to cover in your final presentation. First of all, you're going to introduce yourself. Also, the first part of the semester, we talked about your entrepreneurial mindset. I want to know how that has evolved and grown throughout this semester. Next, your business idea and product analysis. So what you've been working on. I want to hear about some of the key points from your shadowing projects, who you interviewed, what you learned, some good things, some bad things. I want to hear about the mentor experience you had. So who did you pick and why, and what did you learn from the meetings, and what are you going to continue to do with your mentor if you continue with them mentoring you in the future? What are you going to continue to look for with them in that relationship? What you got from the customer discovery segment this semester and the competitor discovery segment. So your interview strategy, who you interviewed, how you got those interviews, key takeaways, what you did to build your product or business idea from those. Also your self-branding and company branding. We had a section on those. What you learned from them, what you did with them, some key points from them. And then finally the timeline, which I'm going to discuss here in a second. It's the last assignment, one of the last assignments for the semester, but I want you to include some points from that as well. So I'll have the rubric in front of me when I'm grading. I'll also give one to Dave and one to the business professional. If you're videoing it online, or if you're doing a Zoom meeting for your final presentation, it'll just be me grading. Just something to note. But the link to the rubric is in Canvas, but I've also included a evaluation form here for you to look through. It's the same thing. So first of all, 37% will be based on the presentation style. So first of all, your materials need to be presented in a clear, concise, and logical or sequential form. So don't be hopping all over the place. Presentation needs to stay within the time frame that I'll discuss in a second. You need to convey confidence and professionalism, demonstrate knowledge of the industry, be responsive to the judges, and effectively field questions from both your peers and the judges. Stimulate investor interest or ability to maintain the judge's interest, and visual aids completed critical plan issues. So you will need a PowerPoint to help you with this. That's required. Also, 53% will be based on the content you present. So everything I just mentioned is listed here. And finally, 10% will be on the venture viability. You need to provide a clear insight into how your product or market opportunity was identified and assessed, and demonstrate personal characteristics necessary to launch and operate this venture. So once again, I'll have this in front of me and we'll break it down and grade each of your presentations on that rubric. So 2 questions to keep in mind when presenting. Ask yourself, is there a market for this business idea, and are there customers to purchase my product or service? Also, have you clearly identified the problem and solution? So a couple requirements for this presentation. You will be required to do business casual dress, whether you're in person or whether you're over Zoom. And then also, it needs to be a 10-minute presentation. I'm very strict on that. I will cut you off at 10 minutes. And if you don't go 10 minutes, you'll also be docked. If you're like 2 or 3 minutes short, that's not really acceptable because you didn't utilize the full time frame, and you should have enough content to talk about for 10 minutes. You'll also get 5 minutes of questions after your presentation by both myself and your students, and maybe a couple of business professionals if you choose to do the in-person final presentation. Again, I'll be strict on the time limit, and you'll get time warnings for when 2 minutes and 30 seconds remains. Okay, so in Canvas, I have this tab for your assignment. You can upload your PowerPoint here that you'll be using for your final presentation. In fact, I recommend it. That way, if we get to a day and you can't really pull it up, or I need to screen share or anything like that, we can just use my computer. Points will be based on the final presentation, though. It's not from the upload. So if you don't upload your presentation, I won't be docking you points. So next up, we're going to talk about the timeline assignment. So this is worth 5 points, and it's due next Friday, October 26th. You're going to compile a plan describing how you see your business ideas planning out. So what do you think your next steps will be towards developing this business? Will you continue to pursue the idea or not, and why? And will you pivot your idea somehow? Be honest with this. Points for this assignment will be based solely on completion and the amount of detail. If you don't plan on continuing to develop this business, explain why not. It should be 1 to 2 pages. So if you come back with a short 1/4 page explanation saying I'm not going to continue this business because I couldn't find customers that were interested, period, that's it. I'm going to dock you some points because that wasn't very much detail. So that basically describes that. Next up, you're going to have one final mentor meeting, and you're going to be responsible for turning in the mentor-mentee reviews in week 10. Sorry, once again, we're talking about week 10 here. So, I guess I need to edit this, but first of all, what's going to be due on this assignment tab is the mentor feedback form and the mentee feedback form. This is old, and I need to redo it. But that's what you're going to submit here, okay? Next up, I think, and last, let me check to be sure. Yes, we talked about the final presentation. Now we're going to talk about the class review once again. I think I mentioned this last week, but the instructor and class evaluation can be found here, link to it here. Just fill it out, upload it for 3 points. I'll just make sure you have an upload. I might click it to make sure you answered all the questions in it, but I won't read through them until your final grades have been submitted, so don't worry about being docked based on very honest feedback. I want constructive feedback, but I'm okay with negative feedback too. So the goal is to make this class better for future students and to help you guys as students at UNL and around the country to develop your ideas further. So with that, I think that's about all for this week. Again, please make sure you get back to me on the final presentation. If you don't see your name here, you need to contact me as soon as possible because we need to get you scheduled. Okay, with that, I hope everyone had a great fall break, or I guess is having a great fall break, and I will talk to you soon.